So it's insane to believe that next month, Apple will be unveiling their brand new iPhone 17 lineup, and while albeit I am excited for the 17 Pro and the Pro Max and the new design of it all, I'm most excited to see what this iPhone 17 Air has to offer because we've been getting a ton of leaks and rumors of how thin this is going to be and everything that comes with it, and it's going to be this middle ground between premium accessibility, premium materials, and premium thresholds, but also kind of taking a step back to make sure it's not more so than the Pro and Pro Max, and seeing some sacrifices that they make. So without further ado, let's talk about everything we know about the iPhone 17 Air, how thin it is, how many cameras, the display, the battery, and everything in between. Let's get into it. So quickly, in terms of timeline, it looks like September 9th is when Apple's going to be having their keynote to unveil the iPhone event. And again, those invites haven't been sent out yet, but some carrier details have been leaked that September 9th will be the keynote, September 12th will be the pre-orders, and then September 19th will be when everybody gets their iPhones in hand. And of course, the lineup is going to be the iPhone 17, iPhone 17 Air, the 17 Pro, and the 17 Pro Max, with all of them besides the 17 getting big design overhauls because again, the 17 Air is what we're here to talk about, and that one is going to replace the iPhone 17 Plus from the lineup. So let's talk about the design and build because Majin Buu on Twitter, I'm going to link him down below. He's been leaking a bunch of awesome stuff when it comes to the new iPhone 17 Air specifically, and when it comes to the design, this is going to be Apple's thinnest iPhone ever, right? It's about to be 5.5 millimeters in thickness. For context, the iPad Pro, the M4 version, the larger one, the 13-inch, is 5.1 millimeters in thickness, and the 11-inch is 5.4 millimeters in thickness. So it's going to be about the thickness of the 11-inch M4 iPad Pro, which is already ultra thin in its own right. So having that in your hand, and then also after playing with the Z Fold 7, which is only 4.2 millimeters thick, when it's open, really goes to show you just why thinness is not really important, but it's very nice to have. It makes it feel like the iPhone is effortless. It makes it feel like the device is much lighter and thinner than it actually is. So the thinner, the better in my opinion, and I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of battery life if it means these phones can be smaller in the hand and just feel less tedious to hold over time, because right now the iPhone 16 Pro Max is about 8.5 millimeters in thickness, maybe a little bit more, so that thing over time does get a little annoying to hold. The material choices for the 17 Pro is going to be some sort of combination of aluminum titanium with a glass back, of course. It will be frosted to allow for things like MagSafe and wireless charging, maybe even reverse wireless charging, but that's all things that come from a material choice with the iPhone 17 Air. This will be IP68 water and dust resistant, but one thing to note from a sacrificial standpoint when it comes to this thing being so thin, we will be foregoing the bottom speaker. So if you're somebody that does enjoy the speaker on their iPhones, especially the Pro Max phones, because they do get plenty loud and pretty bassy for the size of the phone, we will no longer have that. We will still have the earpiece speaker, and it will be able to have a speaker out loud. So if you do want to listen to things out loud on the iPhone 17 Air, you will be able to, but it will be very small, it will be very tinny, and it probably won't get too high from a volume standpoint. So again, that's what they had to do. And then here in the US, we're used to the eSIM only, but outside of the US, this iPhone will only be offered with no physical SIM because again, that does take up space, and they're trying to reduce all the internal space as much as possible so they can leave as much space for the battery cell. And then speaking of the battery, again, Majin Buu has given us some leaks and rumors of just how thin this new battery component is going to be for the iPhone 17 Air, and it's insane how thin this is. The size is going to be about 2800 to 3000 milliamp hours, so again, very small for an iPhone, especially in 2025. So Apple will be banking on the efficiency of their chipset, so the A19 or the A19 Pro, whichever one is going to be in here, they're going to really kind of lean on the efficiency of these chips to make sure you're getting decent battery life, even in such a small battery. So now let's talk about the display. And now, as an all-encompassing thing, Apple should be bringing ProMotion to all iPhone displays from the regular iPhone 17 to the 17 Pro Max. Now, in terms of what type of display, if it's going to be LTPO or if it's going to be just a full range of 120 Hz or maybe 90 Hz, that remains yet to be seen, but I do believe that the iPhone 17 Air will have a 120 Hz ProMotion display, and that's going to be kind of the premium category and what you're getting from a premium standpoint on this iPhone. It will be about the same size as the iPhone 17 Plus, so anywhere between 6.6 to 6.9 inches in terms of display size diagonally. Let's see if it actually gets that 6.9 inch display of the 16 Pro Max which we got, or the 6.7 inch display that we have with the current 16 Plus. But at the end of the day, it will be a larger form factor versus the smaller 17 and 17 Pro. It should also give us an always-on display because of the LTPO if that is coming to the iPhone 17 Air, and we will get HDR support on that display. So for the most part, it should be the latest and greatest from display tech from Apple that goes on the 17 Air. And then in terms of the internal chipset, we should be getting the A19 on the 17 Air and not really the A19 Pro. Those are going to be reserved for the Pro and the Pro Max models. And then we should be getting 12 gigs of onboard RAM for this iPhone 17 Air to help with things like Apple Intelligence and all the AI things of the world, and of course RAM management and multitasking and all the things that come alongside of that. It'll still likely be 128 gigs of base storage to start off, going all the way up to 1 terabyte, but let's see exactly what Apple does from a storage solution standpoint with this iPhone 17 lineup. So we should be getting Wi-Fi 7, and then of course Apple's new modem chip, which again, they did introduce something similar with the C1 chip in the iPhone 16e, so they should be bringing something like that over to again help with efficiency, help with battery life, because we will be getting a much smaller battery like I mentioned earlier, so this thing is going to be all about optimization and all about internal efficiency to make sure we can stretch every single milliamp hour as much as possible to get a full day of battery life, but I'm already expecting this thing to not be able to make it through a full kind of heavy use day, maybe even a medium use day. And now from a design standpoint on the rear, it will have that new kind of visor look that all the iPhones are going to have, but this is only going to have one camera sensor. It's going to have a 48 megapixel rear shooter, so it's going to be pretty similar to the main sensor that we have on the main iPhone, the 17 and the 17 Pro. But again, it's only going to be one sensor, so no ultra-wide, no macro lens, no telephoto, and it remains yet to be seen exactly how Apple's going to tout this, because I know that Apple will be giving us the whole, oh, you have 2x optical zoom because you're kind of binning into the internal 12 megapixels, and they'll sell it to us in that fusion camera way. But don't let them fool you, this is just one single camera sensor with 48 megapixels, which will be good in good conditions. It'll probably still have great video, great normal photos, but again, no ultra-wide, so if that's something that you really want, that won't be included in here, and no telephoto, so if you want to get closer and get some cool macro shots, or maybe get a 5x telephoto like on the Pro models, that will not be possible. So at this point, we already know what the design is going to look like. We've seen the cases that have been leaked even recently by Majin Buu as well, of what all the cases are going to be. We're going to have this liquid silicone case and things like that. But some of the things, again, to recap what you're going to be sacrificing on the 17 Air. It's going to be eSIM only, which is fine in the US because we're used to it. We're going to have no bottom speaker. We're only going to have one camera, which again, to each their own, but most people do prefer having especially that ultra-wide camera. There's still some rumors that it might not even have MagSafe because that's going to add to the thickness, but I do think Apple would never forego MagSafe anymore because they invented MagSafe, so they better have MagSafe on all the corresponding iPhones, but at the same time, the iPhone 16e didn't get MagSafe. So it's not foreign for Apple to forego something like MagSafe even in a modern iPhone. And then lastly, the battery life is going to be something that we're going to be rigorously testing on the channel, so definitely get subscribed to see exactly what that looks like moving forward once we do get the iPhones in hand. And then from a pricing and positioning standpoint in the lineup, like I said earlier, it's going to be replacing the Plus model of the iPhone, but it will be more expensive than that Plus model. Not quite as expensive as the Pro level models, but we're looking at around $950 to $1,000 for the base starting price of the iPhone 17 Air. And one other thing to note is that I do believe all iPhone models will increase by $50 this year, increasing that base iPhone 17 Air from $799 to maybe $849, then going $949 on the 17 Air, then maybe $1149, and then finally even more expensive for those iPhone Pro Maxes. But that will just about do it for this video, everybody. Like you saw, there's a lot of good that's coming with the 17 Air. I like the fact that Apple's trying something new, something a little bit different. I'm okay with things being different just for different sake, to give people another option. Of course, the best iPhone, the best spec sheet is going to be the 17 Pro Max. It's gonna have the biggest battery, the best internal spec, the best cameras, the best display, the fastest charging speeds, the best wireless charging speeds. It's gonna be Apple's kind of flex mode when it comes to what they can put in that package. But then the 17 Air is gonna be a flex in another way from a material science standpoint. How thin can they make it? What type of person will be gravitating towards this versus those higher end iPhones? I'm curious to know all those things that are gonna be happening with the iPhone 17 Air. Like I said, I'm gonna pick one up, see what it's like, see if I miss all the bells and whistles that you get out of a 17 Pro or Pro Max, or if it's something that maybe you can use on a daily basis and it's more than enough iPhone for most people, and you're just paying for the new design of it all and kind of the material science and thinness of it all. But that'll do it for this video. If you made it to the end, leave a little dolphin, and if you guys want to watch more videos like this one, check out one of these videos right here, and comment down below if the 17 Air is something that you're going to consider this upcoming iPhone season. But that'll do it, everybody. Peace.